learned how to do my own makeup. I learned how to put a lash on. I learned how to do my own hair in the same way that you've said, because you can't have people with you all the time. And I knew that there was going to be life post-White House. Even though my team still works with me, part of that was control. And the decision to get my hair braided was primarily a continuation of that freedom. You know, it's like a lot of people want to know, well, what do braids mean? What does she mean? Look, y'all.
What does she mean? It's
what, you know, I mean, that's how white folks are. It's like, what does that mean? What are you saying? We're saying nothing except I just don't want to have to do my hair every day. And I want to go swimming. I don't want to have to worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
So I have been lucky enough to have many conversations with you through the years, most of them personal. But some public. And one of the consistent things about our conversations and our connection is our curiosity about how to navigate life, no matter what kind of life it is that you're living, with care and joy, while being fully yourself, and how you connect yourself to a larger purpose. So coming together to talk about The Look, your latest book that chronicles your style and your beauty journey, feels particularly special for me because we get to have yet another conversation about your groundbreaking significance as First Lady and the extraordinary woman that you are, but this time through a new lens, through the lens of fashion and hair, fashion as a language that can facilitate purpose. I am a believer in the agency and opportunity that fashion can offer. How we express ourselves through what we wear can tell people how we want them to regard us. It's not always about the what, sometimes it's just about the how. Our clothes can be a tool for creativity and joy, an expression of freedom. They can connect us to our history and message the future. It can seem like an unimportant and frivolous topic. And for a Black woman, who is our first Black First Lady, it is certainly not. During your years, I swear I'll get to a question. During your White House years, you used what you wore as a language. You used what you wore as an opportunity to tell the world who you are and what you believe in. And honestly, this book could have just been a bunch of beautiful pictures and we would have eaten it up and we would have loved it. But in perfect Michelle Obama fashion, you did more. So up until this point, you've not spoken publicly about fashion. You let your clothes do their own talking, and they've talked really well. But now you've decided to publish this book. So why this book and why now?
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you all. Why this book? Why this book now? During the 8 years that I was First Lady, I purposefully avoided talking about fashion because I thought it would be a distraction from everything else that I did. I realized very early on that as a woman in the public eye, and I write about this, is that we are often reduced to what we look like. We are often attacked for what we look like, and I experienced that during the first campaign. I realized that I could give a passionate, substantive speech, and it would be covered well in person, but in the press, invariably it would start out with, "She was wearing a blank," as if I had said nothing at all. So that experience kind of shook me to think, I don't want to be solely defined by how I look, what I wear. I want my work to speak for itself. But now that we're almost 10 years out of the White House and I've written 2 books, I think, yes, y'all, it has been a while. That former part is real. Former.
We don't want to believe it.
It is true. It's been almost a decade that we have been in the White House, and I've written 2 books, and I really do feel like the world, the country knows who I am. So now it's time to talk about the how of fashion, because I knew it was always important. I wanted to wait until it felt like it was time, and I think now is a good time. As you said, the book is a collection of beautiful photographs. It is a lovely walk down memory lane, but I want everybody who gets the book to read the essays as well. We have a wonderful foreword by my dear friend Farrah Griffin, who I think is here. There she goes. And I take you through the journey, the process. I want you to meet the team. So this book is as much an homage to the people who helped me be me in that period of time, my trifecta. You're going to learn about them, their stories, their journeys.
And you allow them to tell their own story, which is beautiful.
Absolutely.
They use through their own voices.
Their stories are amazing. They were all kids when they started out. I mean, I'm literally talking, Yanae, my hairstylist, was 19 years old when she came to the White House and was working under Johnny Wright. But this team is amazing.
One of the things, so I'm going to brag and say Michelle and I are friends, and I can actually call her Michelle after all these years.
Yeah.
It took me a really
Finally.
long time.
It's like, Tracy, come on, girl.
It was weird. It was hard, though, because, there's so much reverence. But it's weird. You don't want to curtsy when you see your friends for dinner. It's weird.
No. Gets old. It's like, get up, girl. Get up.
But one of the things that's really special about you and your husband is your teams have remained the same. So since, because I campaigned early, it was 2007 when I met you guys.
Yeah.
And the team is the same. So many of the same people, and it's a really beautiful testament to who you are.
Yeah.
And even the fact that you would write a book and allow not just to talk about your team, but to allow them to use their own voice is such an expression of who you are and how you were First Lady and how you are as a human being. And so it is wonderful to read in that sense, even though it is a picture book, it's wonderful to read. So thank you. Mine's all marked up.
Yeah, and fashion is it's real business. It's a job.
Yes.
And that's what you learn, especially as a woman. I don't know about you men, but it takes a lot of work to show up in a way that we're expected to show up. And my team has worked tirelessly behind the scenes with no fanfare, no acknowledgement, because that was important because we didn't talk about fashion. And now I want to give them some shine. And I also want to give some shine to all of the incredible designers who supported me all throughout the years. I don't know if any one of them are here, but fashion is meaningful. And there were a lot of people who worked. They made dresses, they sewed buttons, they did all the things, not even knowing whether I would put on the thing that they made.
And also, during the time that you were in the White House, you gave platform to so many designers that didn't have a voice, or weren't, that's not true, everyone has a voice, that weren't in the light in that way. I can think of a whole bunch of different names, Cocoon, and they've left me now.
Jason Wu, Philip Lim, and Tracy Reese, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Because when you go to Washington, there are a lot of, this is how we've always done it, that is thrown at you, the expectation. And when it came to fashion, there were a limited number of designers who had an expectation that they would be able to dress the First Lady. And some people got a little attitude about it. It was an expectation. But if you recall, our administration was about opening up opportunities for more people. It was always about expanding opportunities for people who otherwise wouldn't have it. Those opportunities, talented, qualified, diverse people. And now is the time for us to be reminded of the power, the influence, the contribution of immigrants, of women, of minorities, of people of all races, and it is particularly true when it comes to the fashion community. So this book is a big, warm hug to that community as well. So
thank you for saying it that way and for reminding, again, bringing it back to purpose. I have a friend who told me a story about ladies in the first pew at church and what she learned as a little girl, that the hats and the clothes she wore told her how they wanted to be regarded. And I remember how my mom got dressed for life and for stage and told me that, and it told me that how you clothe yourself is something that can give you agency. And one of the things my mom did that I noticed is that the clothes that she wore were not about look at me, they were about this is me. And it's something that... This is me. Okay. So what was your relationship with fashion when you were growing up? What messages did you receive from the way the women in your life dressed when you were young?
You know, I grew up poor, working class, because poor is a different kind of mindset. And we always had enough, but we lived with a certain amount of scarcity, and you know, there was always the dreaming about fashion for me, because I came from the kind of mother who made your clothes. And, you know, I got to the point where it's like, please just let me have some Gloria Vanderbilt jeans. My God, stop sewing for me. I just want what the other kids have. So there was a lot of looking around me that was part of that inspiration. And there was a lot to see. You know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. There was nothing but style and grace and elegance all around me. Even right in front of me as a little girl, it was the teenage girls right in front of me, how they wore their hair and the number of bangles on their arms. And, you know, you sort of covet that look when you see somebody older than you showing up, looking what I didn't realize was maybe a little sexy. But there was just something that said, I like that. And then it was just like Soul Train. I mean, you know, just watching all of that magic happening every Saturday morning. So I knew what I wanted. I knew what beauty and grace and style was. I just couldn't afford it. So I think that made it even more special when I started slowly developing my own agency, even having my own little babysitting money to go to the Evergreen Plaza or Water Tower Place where you could see the nice clothes. A lot of window shopping was going on.
Do you remember the first look, your first, by the way, did you lay your clothes out for school?
Yeah, I did when I was really young. I write about my favorite dress when I was like 6. It was a Sears and Roebuck special, because that's where you got everything. And it was this plaid bottom, one dress, kind of like the typical Jan Brady dress with the plaid on the bottom and the brown on the top, and you just zipped it up in one zip. It was polyester, so it didn't wrinkle. And I loved that dress. I mean, that dress I would lay out because it was probably one of the few things at that age that I could do on my own. It was very efficient, and I loved that dress for that reason.
The efficiency of it?
The efficiency of it, the practicality of it. It didn't wrinkle. I mean, I don't know what my little mind was thinking, but I also like the agency of doing it for myself. But I was also kind of a tomboy. You know, when I was little, because my older brother, I was always following him around. So there was also that period where I thought I was going to be Jose Cardinal, the first baseman of the Cubs, and I would wear my fro puffed up like him with a baseball cap on, and I'd be ready to go. So there were all these different iterations of myself, and I think it wasn't until high school that I saw a broader influence than what was in my neighborhood. I saw kids because I went to a magnet school, Whitney Young, Go Dolphins, and it attracted kids from all over the city, kids of all races. And it was really the first time that I saw Black wealth. You know, I was like, dang, your hair is bouncing and behaving.
I was going to say, what did it look like?
It was polo, Izod. I grew up in the age of the preppy look with and there was a difference between the Jack Leg sweater and the Ralph Lauren sweater. I started learning that. And there was the K-Swiss shoes that were pristine and white, the Stan Smith with the green, and all of this stuff was so expensive, but the kids wearing it just looked cool. But I couldn't afford that stuff until I never was able to afford that stuff, but I would look for the sales and I would try to figure something out. And if I got one sweater, I'd be like, okay, I got the sweater. Now I got to get the polo. I get that in months. Remember layaway? Oh, layaway. Layaway was a thing we used.
I was like,
Remember layaway?
There's a version of that now.
It's called credit. There's a version of that, which means you owe everybody.
Okay. I'm definitely not the one to ask on that. Okay. I was trying to really participate. I was like, yes.
Yeah, Tracy doesn't know. Tracy was one of the girls. I'd be like, where'd you get those?
It is a journey for all Black women,
Yes.
whatever industry you're in.
Yes.
And in Hollywood, it is a thing. And now they're finally having hairstylists that are trained to be able, but what that was is that you had to learn how to do your own hair.
Exactly.
And that's part of where pattern was born from.
Yes.
Because the pattern beauty.
Get it.
Get it. For curly, coily, and tight textures.
The drugstore near you.
Yes, we exceed the needs of the curly, coily, and tight
All right,
texture.
we're going to charge you for sponsorship.
Sorry. Question number 11. So, but yeah, I think I can't imagine. I'm grateful that you were able to leave with your sanity, your family,
Yes.
and your edges intact.
That's right.
And that you were able to find a solution that would allow you to continue doing what you do without that being a thing that was going to damage part of you.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And
I also grew my relaxer out, people. I mean, that was that was the thing. It's like, I don't even really need a relaxer. What are we doing? My girls, we had that little relaxer for a minute. I stopped relaxing their hair. So we learned about hair care. We learned about hair health because I had 2 technicians that cared. And the truth is, the bangs, you know why I wore bangs? I read about it. To give my edges a break, y'all. That was the one thing. It was like, to stop pulling my hair back, we put the bangs in. It was a practical, and I had no idea it would be all that, you know.
well, bangs have a lot of connotation.
What?
It's like,
Do what?
bangs are you're going through a change. Like
Is that what
you've
it
had a
is?
breakup. When she cut bangs.
Is that really? I missed that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, but that's people say.
Okay.
You know, people
So is
got
that
a lot.
what people thought? That I was going through a breakup?
I just thought you looked great. I don't think anyone thought that. I think you look great. That's what it was. They were like, "Oh, she looked great." I thought this was so interesting because I didn't realize. Again, you say it's 10 years since you guys have been out, which is like what? The Crown Act was not introduced until
That's right.
after you left the White House. Fascinating. The natural hair movement began to take off during your White House years, but you stayed with straight hair. It was 2 months after you left the White House that the world saw your natural hair and some pictures of you on vacation. Can you talk about the freedom that you've experienced post-White House, both with your hair and in your style?
I love having a team, but I have to learn how to live without a team, because that's the other thing that we become captive to our teams, to our hairstylists. Like, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. You know, there are people that won't pay the rent because they are going to go get their hair done, right? And I couldn't solely rely on having these young people fly around everywhere with me, coming on vacation. It's like, we didn't have it like that. So I always had to be able, on vacation, when they weren't going to be around, to be able to do my own hair. So that was, those decisions were decisions of control for me. And I didn't grow up with a team, even though I had a team. I am a person that feels like you should do the stuff on your own, right? So I never wanted to feel captive. So I learned how to do my own makeup. I learned how to put a lash on. I learned how to do my own hair in the same way that you've said, because you can't have people with you all the time. And I knew that there was going to be life post-White House, even though my team still works with me. Part of that was control. And the decision to get my hair braided was primarily a continuation of that freedom. You know, it's like a lot of people want to know, well, what do braids mean? What does she mean? Look, y'all.
What does she mean? It's
what, you know, I mean, that's how white folks are. It's like, what does that mean? What are you saying? We're saying nothing except I just don't want to have to do my hair every day. And I want to go swimming. I don't want to have to worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just is. So, braids for me was part of the freedom of like I wanna work out and play tennis and I don't wanna have to have a team, and braids are beautiful and they're versatile and they protect your hair. They're a protective style. And I love them. I love wearing my hair in braids. So I knew I was always gonna go back to braids, which I have done. And I knew it was important, even though I didn't feel like I had the leeway to wear braids as First Lady, because look, anything different that we did, a fist bump, my arms out, y'all, come on. Like, you could pretend like I could wear braids, but this is where you just have sense. It's like, I didn't have time to explain this to the world. It was just like, I'm trying to get people healthy and protect military families. I just didn't have the time to explain these braids. So I just didn't do it. It's like, that's just one fight I'm not gonna take on. I'm doing a lot. So it was a decision, but I knew that I wanted to make that statement at some point. And wearing my hair in braids when we unveiled our official White House portrait, to me, was the chance, because that was really the first and only time we went back to the White House since we've left, to unveil those portraits.
That was plenty.
And so, as the first Black First Lady, I thought it was important to be part of this growing movement to say, for anybody who's wondering whether braids or locks or anything else we do, our natural hair, our short hair, is appropriate, stop asking. If we're wearing it and we're doing the job in it, it is appropriate. Trust me. Just worry about the product. So yes, I wanted to make that statement in the White House.
And that was a braided look that was exceptional.
Yeah.
I remember like every angle of you was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I personally, when you walked out, you know what? Wait, before I do this, because this is shoes. Are you always in a flat? Is it comfort? Is it your preference? Not a flat, but a lower shoe?
It depends on what I'm doing. That's a good question, because, you know, when I'm giving a speech, I want to be grounded, right? So I rarely wear a big heel because there's just something about, if I'm trying to deliver, I don't want to be teetering.
Yeah.
I don't want to be unstable. So I like a lower heel so I don't have to focus on the heel. You know, even just walking out on stage. You know what I'm thinking when I'm walking out on stage?
Yes,
anytime.
Please tell us.
Don't fall, don't trip, don't trip. Just don't trip, don't fall. Watch your step, take it slowly. Before anything, walking down, that's why I've never fallen down the stairs of Air Force One, because I'm thinking, don't fall, don't trip, girl. Do not become a meme. That's what I'm thinking right there.
Don't fall.
Don't fall. So, you know, the shoe that I wear. And so I often will do, you especially for a live DNC speech, you get one chance, it's live, it's got to be right. So I have a ritual, what I do with big speeches like that. I practice in the morning because I just want to get the speech. I want to know the speech by heart because you never know when a teleprompter is going to go down or something's not going to work. It's live TV. I do it in flat shoes behind because they usually have a teleprompter behind for all the speech givers to practice. I do it once, and then I put on the shoe that I'm going to wear, and I do the speech again so that by the time I come out, it's locked in. And then I can deliver it, right?
And locked in from your feet through
all the way up. And that's how the decision about clothes works, right? So that suit was Meredith. You know, we had a fitting for this event. She brought a bunch of suits. We put that on, and it was clear. It was like, dang, this is a bad suit. You know, that's usually how I pick stuff. It's like, this is bad. You know, we weren't thinking about symbolism or Wakanda or nothing. I don't know what all that was about. It was just like, this is a clever suit. You know, it was modern and different and a little edgy, which is sort of what the path I was on anyway. And this is when I told Jerry, my braider, I wanted that long power braid because I didn't want a lot of hair. So it's things like that that I thought about. But once we picked the suit, it's about the work. Yeah. You know, it's like this suit, I know I feel good in, I feel clean in, and now I can do what I'm here for, which is to deliver a message. Now, y'all didn't listen. But we won't go there. Okay, some of y'all did. Some of y'all listened.
We hear everything you say.
Some of y'all did.
You said, what's the expression that you use when you like the look? You said, oh, this bad? You know what mine is?
What's that?
Oh my God, I like this girl.
Yeah. Oh, yes. There's
so
that
weird.
too.
I say it all the time. I'm like, oh, I like this girl.
Yeah,
I want to know her.
She's good.
Where's she going?
Her?
Okay.
I want to be where she
Versace
is.
dress.
Well,
This.
Oh, yeah.
Versace dress. Here it comes. Oh. This
Now
was,
that's.
I mean, the
dress.
color, the whole thing. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
That was me too.
Oh
me
my God,
too.
it was so good.
It was so good.
Was
yeah.
it cold? Because chainmail can be cold.
It wasn't that bad. It was heavy, which is a trip when you have 3 hours and a long photo line and all that. But luckily, I was healthy and in shape. But that was a beautiful dress. This was the last state dinner, Italy. So Versace in Italy, that's how Meredith was thinking. And she told me this story that this dress was shown in a different chain metal. And this is her, she was like, rose gold would be beautiful. So she went to Versace and said, can you do this in a rose gold? Now the process with a state dinner dress is that we do fittings like a month in advance, and we always have a few options, right? Because ladies, zippers break, stuff doesn't work, you fit it once, it comes back, and these dresses have to fit perfectly, and we never know until the night of whether something is gonna happen, so we always have a backup. So I usually have 3 dresses ready, and then I don't decide until that night what I'm gonna do, and it's a surprise to my husband too, so that became one of our rituals that I talk about in the book, that was kind of like our only really cool date night that we could have, you know, and so we had a ritual where he wouldn't know what was going on, and the house was abuzz because the music is playing and the girls are in with us getting ready, and we got champagne and the hors d'oeuvres from downstairs, and mom is waiting, and they don't know what I'm gonna wear, and I walk out into the salon, into the grass hall where Barack is waiting. It's like prom, and then everybody follows, the butlers come out, and all of Trifecta, they come out and they just wait to watch him to see what he's gonna say, especially Meredith. He was like, he better like this. She's usually looking at him like, don't ask, right? Because he's also a man. He was like, why is there all this? What's this? And I'm usually like, it's fashion, okay? You don't understand. So we did that with this dress, and so it was just beautiful. And when I put it on, it felt good. It fit like a glove, and we were being edgier. The second term, it was the last state dinner, so this dress was always also like a bye. It's like this was like I don't even care what you think, because guess what? We don't need no more votes. You can like it, you can not. I'm going to be sexy as I don't know what. I don't care no more. That was this dress, too.
Yeah.
That was the statement.
Yeah. Whose style do you admire?
Whose style? Oh, so many. I admire your style. I do. I mean, I really do. Your mother's style. I love the divas. You know, I did one of the other Look episodes podcast that you'll hear. We do this beautiful conversation on aging in the public eye with me, Jenna Lyons, Jane Fonda, and Beth Ann Hardison. It is a conversation, y'all. And Jane Fonda, she's like 87. She showed up in this white suit, just crisp, clean, together. I was like, that's what 87 is, you know? So I really like the clean, solid, timeless looks. And anyone who sports those looks, I admire their style.
We've talked a lot about wearing clothes to send the world a message. What do you wear to send yourself a message?
Anything that makes me feel good. I mean, I do not pick something that doesn't make me feel good. I never wear something to follow a trend. I wear things that make me feel beautiful, and that is probably the first criterion. And then I wear things that allow me to forget about what I'm wearing and do the work. So I do want, like, I forgot about this dress and this cape, this whatever this is doing. You know, it was fun to walk out on, but I'm done. I'm not thinking about how it's folding, and I'm sure Meredith is losing her mind because she was like, the angle is wrong, move your foot. And I tend not to worry about that once I'm in it. A moment. Yeah. And to these days, the book takes my arc from childhood till today. And so you see the variations. And when I did the Becoming tour, it was about pants. I didn't want to be in a dress. I had done enough little lady dresses during the 8 years, and so they were glamour suits. And then The Light was the book that I wrote after COVID, and I wanted that to be more personal, a smaller venue. I wanted to be more relaxed, and we went more urban. That's when I had my hair in braids. All of those iterations are me. You know, a cool jeans outfit, a funky barrel jean cut, a t-shirt, you know, just anything that fits well. And that's one of my styling advices. One of the things I learned is that it's worth getting your stuff tailored. And that was like, if you're looking for any kind of hack, that's the biggest one. Is rarely does anybody, you know, fit the dress size. We are all too diverse in our sizes, and to make even affordable clothes look clean and sleek, getting them fitted to you, getting a t-shirt tucked, a shirt pulled in, if you go to your local dry cleaners. And we did that with Target dresses and J. Crew. Everything was tailored so that it fit me the way it should. It would be the right length. It would be if we needed to cut a sleeve off or add fabric. The links work, and all of that stuff matters. So all of that makes all these different styles accessible to me because they're all parts of who I am.
That makes sense.
You know, so I don't think there's one way. I think I'm still exploring, discovering who I am, playing. The beauty of playing in fashion is still part of it, you know, and I still love to play. So I'm still evolving at 61 years old, y'all. Still figuring it out.
I've said it throughout this conversation, but I will say it again. Thank you. Thank you for